Heyo, Hudson here with Planet 4 Gaming. I'm flying the N1K2-J Shidinkai. To the best of my knowledge, the JA is exactly the same, only it carries more bombs. And obviously I don't focus on bombing at all, so I'm not going to do a video on that. I have this plane fully upgraded. Every modification is unlocked. So I'd like to think I have a good amount of experience with it. It has a better top speed and dive speed than the Zero had previously on the tech tree, so it's an improvement there. Definitely better armament, same cannons, just double them. And slightly worse turn time, but the speed is much more important at this point in the game, so all around this is a very solid airplane. I think I like the KI-84 a little bit better. It's just a little bit faster, maybe slightly better roll rate, and I like the guns on it better. They have a higher rate of fire and better muzzle velocity, and all around are more accurate at longer ranges. So, yeah, not my favorite plane by any means, but it's very good. The biggest issue with it is matchmaking, no doubt. When flying out in this plane, you'd be expecting to go up against mostly Bearcats, Griffin Spitfires, Tempest, that sort of thing, when in reality you end up fighting a lot of jets, and by jets I mean F-80s and P-80s, maybe a few of the lower Meteors, that sort of thing. And the N1K is clearly not cut out to be fighting those jets. The performance gap is just way too huge. Obviously you can get kills on them when they make mistakes or just behave like dumbasses all around, which, to be fair, is pretty common among American players, but overall it's just very unbalanced and in many cases boring trying to fight jets in the N1K because there's not much action to be had, and if there is, it's usually you getting B and Z'd out the ass, so yeah, not very enjoyable. And there are Japanese planes that probably can take on jets a little better. Surprisingly enough, the J7W is fairly effective for taking out jets. It has a good dive speed, much better than the N1K, and is able to keep control at those high speeds fairly well. So you have that. The KI-84 is also slightly better. I don't know how the Kitsuka is, but the R2Y2 is not the best either. So the Japs are going up against these F-80s, and they don't really have a really strong contender against them, and we have this horrible matchmaking pitting Japanese players against these planes. So in this full game, I'll do my best to show you what you should do against these planes, what I do, and it's basically hit or miss flying out in this plane. So to start off, I just happen to see Shoji, which probably looks pretty bad that I'm going for a bot right at the start, but he was there and I didn't see anyone else, so might as well do a quick pass. I do critical damage without wasting much ammo, and he'll go down. And you never know, he could end up being the last plane on their team, and it ends up no one can find him, which is always a pain in the ass. So after that, I'm going to fly over to our kamikaze AI planes, which usually draw a fair amount of attention from American players who want to get some easy RP. And sure enough, there's a couple of F-80s, P-80s over here. And I'm going to go see what I can do. I see one dive on this J7W. Since I've got the altitude advantage, I try to dive in, close the distance between us, take a few shots, but these Type 99 cannons are just not very accurate at long ranges, and I can't score a hit. And he's gone. That's it. He climbed right out of there with his jet, and the N1K just has no chance of following. So now I'm going to try and climb away a bit, gain some altitude, and see if I can spot anything else that looks like it might be a decent target. And we've got a Bearcat on my guy, only prop in the game, by the way, on the enemy team, obviously. And this guy makes himself an easy target. He follows my N1K into the vertical, which is a big mistake. As he's following him through, I just put some nice clean shots in, and there he goes. The Type 99s obviously do pretty great damage when you get to score a hit, but their accuracy isn't very, very good. I have ammunition for air targets, I think, or no, it's omni-purpose for the Japanese. That's what I have, and it does good damage, better than default. So now it's just down to a bunch of jets on their team. They have one Canberra and then a bunch of shooting stars, and my props are not doing a good job of countering them. This J7W looks like he's going into land, which is a big mistake. He gets wasted right there. And I try to dive in on this P-80. He does a good maneuver to get out of my way. And now I'm just climbing up again, because you don't want to be stuck at low altitude and keep getting bounced by F-80s. It's not going to go well. So I'm in the clouds. It appears I've lost them. I don't know how many guys are left on my team, but it's just going to be me on my own pretty soon here. F-80 coming in. Looks like he might be going for a head-to-head. I'm going to try and get some cheeky shots in. He dives below. I take some shots but miss. It's very hard to get a hit at that angle, so no big deal. But now he's gonna run, and I just have no chance of catching up at all. Like I said, the performance gap is just way too huge between the N1K and the respective American jets. Another guy comes in, I dodge him. It's not hard to dodge in this plane. You have much greater maneuverability, but it's just way too hard to score a kill. So he comes in low again. I actually manage a hit this time, but nothing serious. So he just continues with his run there, and he's out of range. Canberra looks like he might be coming to ram. I'm trying to do my best to ignore him, because he's obviously not going to be shooting me down, and he's just a distraction at this point. Take a few long-range shots. Might have gotten a small hit there, but once again, nothing serious. Canberra is the only thing near me, so I decide to take a few shots on him. Very small hit. He might be trailing a little bit of coolant or something there, but he'll be fine. Now this P-80 comes in for another head-to-head. I'm just not lined up properly, so I dive under him. And now I'm getting fucking swarmed. I've got shooting stars all over me. And now all I have to use is my maneuverability to my advantage. And they are slowing down a little bit. They're getting a bit cocky, so I might be able to get a kill here. And P-80 coming at me. Yep, perfect shot. Take his wing off. Like I said, he just got too cocky. With all his friends around, he thought he could come in for a little turn fight there, but it didn't work out. Now that Canberra is getting pretty enticing. He's going very slow at low altitude, so I dive in, pull up right on his 6, ignore those shots behind me, get critical damage, and then dodge. But he's still going fine. I don't know what I critted, but it wasn't keeping him out of the air. See, even at 0.75 kilometers, these things are just not, these cannons are just not very accurate. Another F-80 coming in. I dive under, no problem. And now I'm in a pretty tough situation. They've still got 3 fighters left, and they're just basically attacking me at their leisure. They don't need to do anything risky, because they're probably not low on fuel yet, and there's plenty of them around to cover each other. So yes, this game is getting pretty... the situation is pretty grim for me at the moment. I don't know if it's been noticeable at this point, but in this game, my frame rate started to go into the shitter, basically. And it's because of the recording software I'm using. It happens on occasion. And that's gonna fuck me up at some point in this game, so just a heads up there. I take slight damage on that pass, but my control surfaces are all fine. And I'm basically just dodging, waiting for them to make a mistake. Even at that pass underneath, he's still able to get away quick enough that I can't take a shot on him. And there's the frame rate. Yep, on fire. And I just couldn't see what was going on, so I had no idea what to do. But the fire goes out, and my wing is redded out, fuselage isn't too great either, and my handling has really taken a hit there. So I have to do my best to keep dodging and wait for them to make a mistake, even with my current setup here. I take a quick shot, no hit, obviously. I apologize for the lack of serious action in this game, but that's honestly the way it is for Tier 4 Japan right now, and I wanted to make a video talking about that, give everyone a good representation of how bad it is, in some cases. So, leveling out, that F-80's dead ahead. P-80 comes up behind, but I think he's out of ammo, or he would have totally wasted me there. Anyway, he's able to get away, and now I'm focusing on this F-80. He's gonna come in at my 12 o'clock, and that's honestly my best opportunity. Get a few solid hits, he doesn't hit anything. And there he goes, 3rd kill. I mean, not a bad game technically, it's just not very exciting using a plane that's meant for dogfighting other late game props against early jets. It's just not fun. Get a quick hit there. This P-80 has taken a ton of abuse from me. Well, a ton of little pecks there, a ton of little nips. But he's alright. And my team is losing on ground forces, so that's going to be how the game ends. And that's about how I'd say a third of the games go like this. The other third, the Japanese players somehow manage to use teamwork to their advantage and actually beat a team full of jets, which should never happen, but you know how American players are. Well, some of them. If you're a good US player watching this right now, I don't mean to give you a hard time, but you must know to some extent. It must get annoying playing on these retarded teams. And the other third is F-80s just running all across the map, waiting for players to crash, run out of ammo, go back to land, and then just being cheap bastards and sniping you on the runway. Just whatever. waiting for the tickets to run out, essentially, sometimes. So, yeah, overall, flying this plane, I think it needs, the matchmaker needs adjusted for this plane to be viable. It should never see F-80s, to be honest. It's just not meant to be fighting them on equal terms. And obviously you can get kills on them, it's just not a fair fight at all. So I think that needs a fix. Apparently there's a new matchmaker coming out next patch. But from what I hear, it's just Gaijin is figuring how different planes stack up against each other, rather than actually having a unified battle rating. But if you think the N1K is perfectly fine fighting against F-80s, that doesn't change shit, so whatever. We'll see what happens. Otherwise, this plane just, against other props, it's very good. Against Bearcats, it's pretty much an even fight. So the better player will always come out on top, whichever plane is flying. So that's about all I've got to say about it. If there's anything I haven't covered, there probably is something. Just leave a question, a comment question below. A comment that is worded as a question, and I'll do my best to answer it. But yeah, this has been Hudson with P4G. Thank you for watching, and get the fuck out of here.